Hello and welcome today. It's Michelle Domino Burrows here. So I just wanted to welcome you to today's webinar for DocuSign integration, overview and features. Whether you're new to the integration or looking to fine tune your existing setup, this session will walk you through everything you need to know, from configuration basics to advanced branding options. By the end of the webinar, you'll be able to understand key user configuration requirements, explore branding capabilities for a polished professional signer experience, identify integration features that support your sales process, and confidently guide your team through the electronic signing workflow. As always, we want you to get the most out of today's session. So if you have any questions at any point, don't hesitate to ask. Whether you need us to slow down, revisit a point, or dive deeper into something, just drop your question in the chat. Okay, so let's get on started. I'm going to start sharing my screen in a second. So for today, I won't be going through the whole creating a job process. I will be going through the configuration, as I mentioned earlier, and then I will also go through going from the estimate screen into the document screen to send out a DocuSign invite. Okay, so first thing we want to do is I do want to mention the configuration setup is under Tools Program Options. And from in here, if we go to the e-signature interface, this is where you would put your credentials. You will notice here that the top few selections are pieces of information that we would assist getting for you when we are going through this configuration process. And then starting from this selection here from DocuSign Enable Region Office level configuration to the bottom, this would be something that you and your team internally can discuss on how you would like to configure certain notifications. I apologize, skipping this selection here. So just to kind of go through the configuration or settings, what DocuSign enable region office level configuration here, what you can do is you can have one DocuSign configuration where all of your users would go into one routing order. But with this setting being set to true, you do have the ability to have different regions and or offices having different configurations of routing for signers. There might be certain offices that would require an extra signer or an extra reviewer. So this is one of those places that we will need to set to be true. And then I'll also delve into that in a second after I go through these on where you would make those setups. Okay, the next few selections here are the amount of times that you'll get notified as basically a reminder of a document or some documents that are waiting to be signed. There are right now, if you want to get notifications or you want to send notifications to a customer or a salesperson or any signer or reviewer, you can set up some days that every time they get that notification to say, hey, you have something here that needs to get signed or reviewed. Otherwise, it's going to be voided. Okay. You also have the ability to notify a person that that the transaction is going to expire, if it even expires. I know that in the past there are proposals that expire within 30 days, sometimes 7 days, sometimes they don't expire at all, based off of pricing. So just something to think about. Right. Another nice feature here is your email subject line. In the past, we had a default to be the project number and then the quote package that was being sent out. But with this feature, you are able to make it a little bit more appealing to your clientele. There is an article out in our support site that has what these tags mean. So for instance, project number, that would be the project number that gets assigned automatically here. So the 22205-3-0. Just using these as an example. The document name would be your quote package name and then your customer name. So again, we have that list available to you on support.wesuite.com. The next thing here, the next selection here, which is something fairly new within the past few years, this is the ability to have the email body that comes from the DocuSign portal to be a little bit more personalized from you. In the past, we were using the default template that came with DocuSign's integration, where it simply gave the person's customer name, and that says you have some documents to sign that were sent by whatever your company was. Now you have the ability to make changes to that. This is also in that same article, which shows the different tags. And of course, if you try your hand at it and you're running into any issues or have any questions, feel free to submit a ticket to support@wesuite.com and we'll be able to give you a hand. Okay. And then the next thing here is your DocuSign use consolidate mode by default. One thing to mention, it is very important that you understand what this setting is. If you have multiple documents that you are sending out to a customer, so let's say you have a proposal and 2 contracts. If you have this set to true, all of those documents will be consolidated into one PDF and it would be sent to the customer as one envelope. If this is set to false by default, um, and your user doesn't consolidate documents, if there are more than one document being sent, the user, the contact, I apologize, will receive multiple envelopes or multiple emails to sign documents. Keeping in mind that multiple emails equals multiple envelopes. It is my knowledge that DocuSign sells uh, by the number of envelopes sent. So just something to also take note of when you are sending out DocuSign invites. Okay. So moving forward here, in relation to this DocuSign enabled region and office level configuration setting, you can make those configurations here under document e-signature setup. And again, we're always happy to help with anything that we can and any questions that you might have with regards to this. So for instance, if I'm going to take a proposal, what I can do is I can have my standard set of rules where, for instance, as an example, this proposal will always be sent out to the main contact, and then the salesperson would get a signature to or an invite to sign after the main contact has signed. But in this event, let's say I wanted to add an office or a region specific signing configuration, I can go in here and click, as you saw here, click region office e-sign template. And again, you'll notice it says the blue template, so I know what I'm configuring for. And all of these have my standard that have been set up originally. But let's just say for the New York Albany office, I want to now add a reviewer that gets a copy. So we'll say accounting team, accounting. Okay. And so what they do is that the accounting team will receive a copy after it's been fully signed. And what I do is after I add my reviewer, I click OK. And so now I'm just going to exit this process here. So again, this is my default, but for my region, here's my Albany will have my extra reviewer in here. Cortland Manor doesn't. The New York office also, inheriting the default. And again, if I wanted to go just at the region level, I can go in here and I could say add a reviewer, um, manager team. All right. And I'll click OK. And what I'll do here is you'll notice there's a little icon here next to my region, and that's an indication that this has a special configuration or a specific configuration for that region. And again, for this has a specific configuration for the office. But again, you'll notice what'll happen is if I do it at the region level, all of the all of the offices will inherit what is set up at the region level. But as you can see, there's a difference. The Albany office is going to the accounting team, while the other offices will go to the manager team. Does anybody have any questions on that? Is anybody interested on learning a little bit more about that? Um, or did you need me to go through anything further? All right. So just moving forward here, as you make any configuration changes, edits, additions, just also make sure that as you add reviewers, you want to make sure that you click OK as well. Or if you even change just the routing order, just make sure you click OK so it saves the configuration. Um, One thing to note as well, before I leave here is that if you are expecting someone from the team to be a signer, that would be something that you would have to let us in WeSuite know. Your account executive would be the best contact so they could provide you with how much time that would require. The only thing that you would have access to be able to do is the allowing to add for a reviewer, whether they need to view it to complete the transaction or they could receive a copy. Another thing to also note is the type of account that you have with DocuSign. They have, as I'm aware of at present, they have two different levels. One is professional and the other one is enterprise. To have this capability of adding a reviewer, to my knowledge, unless things have changed, the reviewer, being able to add a reviewer would require an enterprise account. Otherwise, you will run into issues because of the account type that you have. Okay. So moving forward, I just would like to go through going through a job here and sending it for for a DocuSign invite. So for here, I'm just going to open up this job just for the purpose of looking at the contact, and then also we'll go through that process of sending through the DocuSign. So first thing here, I've built my job. I'm now going to go in here and I'm going to check and make sure that I have my contact that I need. And so I'll go, now everything is correct. And I'm going to go into my document screen. For this purpose here to see, you'll notice here there is an icon next to the quote package that I've previously sent for DocuSign signature. Right now, there is, if I don't know if you're able to see this too well, but there's a black box around with a pencil in the middle. That is an indicator of a DocuSign invite being sent, and its status is currently in process. So so that's what you'll see when you send out a quote package. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a quote package, and let's say I made some adjustments, and I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to just bring over purchase agreement. Best practice, always make sure that you generate your contract and your proposal to make sure that whatever you are sending to your customer is what you want them to see and sign. So my contract looks good. Gonna just generate my proposal. And please note that if any of those documents aren't generating, you will run into an issue when you try to send a document for DocuSign invite. And the reason being is in the process of sending out a DocuSign invite, our application will generate the documents and PDF them. If you have them consolidated, they're going to PDF everything together. If you have them sent as separate documents, they will PDF them separately, as I mentioned before. So I've generated my proposal. I've generated my contract. Now I'm going to send it for electronic signature. So I'll click this. And again, because I sent a quote package for signature from DocuSign, it's just a little warning to let me know that this previous uh, transaction that I sent is going to be voided, and the new one that I send out will be the active document. So I'm going to click yes here, and you'll notice, right, at the top of this window, there's the consolidate documents, and then there's separate documents. So just to explain this, you'll notice as I press each button, so I pressed separate documents, and that's green, so that means that it's currently on that selection. So you'll see the two different tabs. If I click consolidate documents, you'll notice it's just that one tab. One thing to also note is that by default, if you have documents that have different signing configurations, so for instance, my sales agreement had a reviewer, but my proposal didn't, it will automatically, by default, put it as separate documents or send it as separate documents. Okay. Does anybody have any questions about this consolidate and separate documents selections here? All right. So from here, there are certain group rights also that you have that you'll have available to you based off of your group rights. There are some users that will be able to add a reviewer on a per job or a per quote package basis. My user happens to be a system admin, so I do have those rights to be able to add a reviewer. I can also change the position in which the invites are sent on a per job basis. And I can also, you can see here under status where it says editable, I can also make changes to the email address, right? And so once that's all complete, I looked at all of my pieces of information and everything is looking like what I need. I'm going to click send for signature and it'll go through the process of voiding the previous envelope, generating these documents, PDFing them, and then sending them off to DocuSign to then anchor and send the invite to the customer. And I will show you that email shortly. So first thing is that whoever the invite was initially sent to, they're going to get that a notification that the envelope was voided. And then the new one will come through. And since this is our test environment, you will notice that our portal or our signing room will have some test information on it. So everybody will always get this agree to do electronic signatures. And again, for us, you'll see this red lettering here. That is only because we are in a test environment. So you won't see that in your production, but you guys will always get a DocuSign envelope ID. This is a unique identifier for each of the envelopes that are sent. So if there's ever any question of what envelope was sent out, you can drill down to be as specific as an envelope ID. So as the customer, I'm going to see this. I go through and I sign and adopt and sign. And again, you'll notice here's my proposal. Just going to scroll down and here's the contract. Once everything's fully signed by the customer, they'll get this finished, they'll click finish, and then the salesperson or whoever's next in your sequence will get a notification that looks similar to this here. This is also the body of the email that I mentioned that was part of the program options. So again, that email body is controlled from tools, program options, e-signature interface, and the DocuSign body text right here. Okay. You will also notice that even though you got the notification, even though your customer got the notification that the previous envelope was voided, you as the company also have visibility, or the user have visibility that an envelope has been voided when it has the yellow highlight box. And then again, you'll see the black highlight box, which means that that's the last uh, document invite that has been sent and is currently in progress. There are two other colors that you would see. If you see the box is in red, that means that one of the signers, it doesn't have to necessarily be the customer, but one of the signers who received the invite have rejected to sign. Okay. And then the other color that you would see with the surrounding would be green. And that means that it has been fully signed and executed. One of the things to note with a green box e-sign from DocuSign is after it's been fully signed, you are not going to be able to create a new quote package to send to the customer. You will need to either create a new job, or you can try to void and resend from within the DocuSign portal. One thing to also note, since we do have DocuSign available in We Estimate and in Quote Anywhere, you have the ability to send an email, as what I've done today, but you also have the ability to sign the documents on a tablet, like or a device when using Quote Anywhere. So dependent on where the invite was sent out of, you would get an email or you would get a sign-on document or a sign-on device button on the application. All right. Does anybody have any questions? Or, of course, if there's further questions that get triggered after the call, we can absolutely address those as well. Well, all right. Well, it looks like we're done with what our uh, webinar was for, and what I would like to just have a few words before we leave for the day. So I wanted to thank you guys for joining us, and I do hope that you learned some new things and some good information with regards to the DocuSign integration. If you need to refer to the webinar again, it will be posted on our website by this time tomorrow on our website under education training webinars. And don't forget to mark your calendars for our upcoming webinars. Our next webinars are the sales user training for WeSuite Document Editor, creating standout proposals, which will be on May 20th at 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern. And then we also have our Quote Anywhere from Lead to Win, Smart Quoting to close more security sales, which will be on Wednesday, May 21st, also from 1 to 2 Eastern. Take care, everybody, and have an awesome day and great week. Bye.